After the collation of 15 local government results in the River State governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has closed the exercise for today to resume at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Results have so far been announced from Eleme, Oigbo, Andoni, Ikwere, Okpobonkoro, Boni, Okrika, Akukutoru, as well as Omoma, Port Harcourt, Tai, Ahoda West, Emoha, Eche, and Onelga. The INEC Chief Returning Officer, Professor Teddy Adias, had earlier made it clear that collation of results will be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. Results from 6 local government areas are left to be collated. Meanwhile, all eyes have been on security agencies in the build-up to the resumption of electoral processes in River State, earlier suspended by INEC. Against the backdrop of reported violence and the protests that greeted the delay in the process, the resumption of the exercise today put the spotlight again on the presence of security agencies. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Erey, reports.
It is my strong belief the subsequent electoral activities as outlined in the timelines issued by the Commission for the conclusion of the suspended elections in the state will be carried out as stipulated.
When the new timelines were set by the INEC for the conclusion of the electoral processes in River State, it was perhaps clear to many that security was going to pose a challenge. And the heavy presence of security operatives on the major road leading to the gate of the electoral body on this day, as collation of results resumes, is indicative of the seriousness of the process. A mild drama, as some party agents find it hard to convince the security operatives that they have been revalidated to gain access into the collation center. The Commissioner of Police, who is leading the election security in the state, would rather save his words for now. Before, during, and even now, as the collation of results in the River State election continue, the issues of security concerns had always been top on the minds of many. And with both sides of Aba Road, a major link road in the River State capital, barricaded by security operatives on both sides, leading up to the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state, it suggests that security will not be taken for granted at any time until the entire exercise concludes. Emmanuel Erey, Channels Television News.
We hope to return to the River State election update in a while, but in the meantime, a federal high court sitting in Abuja today dismissed a suit seeking to stop the Independent National Electoral Commission from collating results of the River State governorship election held on March the 9th. Justice Inyang Ekwo, in a judgment, ruled that the court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the matter. The judge had on March the 20th refused to grant an ex parte motion filed by the candidate of the African Action Congress, Mr. Biokpamo Babo Awara, seeking to stop the exercise. Instead, the judge ordered that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, be put on notice and dismiss the suit for lacking in merit. The AAC governorship candidate in River State had asked the court to stop INEC from concluding the collation announcement of the results, insisting that he was the clear winner of the poll. And now to security. The Lagos State Police Command has disclosed the identities of its officers allegedly involved in the killing of a football fan at a viewing center. This follows a public outcry that followed the fatal shooting of 36-year-old Kolade Johnson during a raid by the anti-cultism unit of the command at Onikpetes along Lagos-Abeokuta Road on Sunday. Our correspondent, Ini John Mekwa, reports that the unfortunate incident has further sparked calls for reform of police operations in the country.
The home of Kolade Johnson has suddenly become a place of tears and conversation in hushed voices. His parents and other family members can hardly remember the plans they had for the month of April as they ended the month of March with the reality that their 36-year-old investment and hope has been dashed. His eldest sister, whom he lived with in the last 2 years, can hardly believe it's over.
He just finished eating that day. He said he's going to watch Norman. He's coming, he's throwing down to watch the ball. I don't know, that will be the end.
This is where Kolade came to watch the match, as testified by eyewitnesses, a spot which is at the beginning of their streets.
We had the screaming of a lady, help, help. So we ran outside and we saw a guy that we know. His name is Ismail.
Ismail says he was trying to board a bus when another bus stopped in front of him.
Two guys came down from the bus and they wear mufti. They are not with uniform. So they grabbed me and I was like, what's going on? Why will you guys hold my clothes? Say they are SARS. I'm like, you are a SARS. You are not with uniform and you are using a yellow bus, normal all those Paragons buses. And how can I believe you are a SARS? What can you use to identify yourself as a SARS? Along the line, two guys came down from the bus with uniform, with gun. So, okay, I say, okay, where is your office? So I can tell my people that, oh, SARS, they arrest me, they can know where to find me. Because I asked that question, they started beating me, dragging me to the bus.
This, according to Mr. Nana, attracted them out of their leisure spot.
Where myself and Kolade stood over there, there's the taxi park over there. Kolade stood right beside me. Kolade didn't talk. I was the one that spoke. The next thing I saw was he pointed the gun at us and he shot twice. I didn't even know the bullet touched Kolade.
The Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Zubairu Muazu, has responded to this incident and even visited the family of Kolade Johnson with the assurance that justice will be served. Following this, the suspected officers have been paraded and identified as Sergeant Godwin Oji and Inspector Ogunyemi Olalekan.
We had a distress call that we should move to Mangro. So on getting there, we saw some group of guys smoking in their aim. We called their cultists. So we effect an arrest there. So suddenly they mob us, me and my boys. They mob us there. So in terms of escaping them all around, so I fired up. So I didn't know how he got to meet the boy in question that we had that was shot dead. I don't know. But I only fired one up.
You will be handed over to the state CID for prosecution for murder. The rules of engagement for firearms is very, very clear. The police officers are trained, they know it, they know when they can engage their firearms. First Order 237 is there and is still in force. And anything short of that will not be condoned by the Nigerian Police Force.
Nigerians will certainly follow this case and hold the CP to his word, as sentiment against the police has built up from the case of a young girl who was allegedly shot dead in Ikorodu area in March, along with the resuscitated call by activists for reform of the police force and its operating units. Ini John Mekwa reporting for Channels Television News.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has received a new batch of 180 stranded Nigerians from Libya. The returnees comprise 95 females and 85 males, including children. They arrived in Nigeria on Monday night and were received by NEMA's coordinator in Lagos, Mr. Idris Mohammed. He told the returnees to make better use of their bitter experiences in positive ways by turning a new leaf and forge ahead of the dangers and risks that they have escaped in the course of their unfortunate sojourn abroad. For several hours, traffic on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway at the Mowe axis has been at a standstill today. This is not unconnected to the earlier diversion created by the Federal Road Safety Corps in Ogun State to save motorists from an impending danger owing to a fuel tanker leak. The unit commander of the FRSC, Mowe in Ogun State, Lucas Oguntade, who spoke to our correspondent, Loretta Chiogo, earlier in the day, explains that a container truck heading out of Lagos had collided with the oil tanker while attempting to overtake with the resultant friction causing the leak. He said the container had been impounded and taken to the FRSC office in Mowe. Some frustrated motorists are reported to have then gone on driving against traffic on the opposite lane. Traffic on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway from the Opit area to Mowe had been terrible for several weeks, especially since the construction work on the federal road resumed. There have also been attacks on motorists and commuters by criminals on the popular Long Bridge. Some motorists buying Apapa Road in Lagos are raising concerns over the persistent gridlock in the area. They're asking government to find a lasting solution to this menace, as it is obvious that sanity can be restored on the road since it was cleared of tankers and trucks in February when the president came to Lagos to campaign.
The conversation about Apapa gridlock continues, but there seems not to be any feasible change. The long snail-like movement of trucks and oil tankers, which stretches from Ojota through Ikorodu Road down to the Nigerian Port Authority, Apapa, continues to make commuters spend longer hours on the road. Business owners, residents and commuters who ply this route have continually raised alarm over the situation, but to no avail.
So the problem is not from the road, it's from these people. They should not, and this I'm very sorry to say, the security officers, they contributed a lot to that thing. Because before these people cross their road, they know how much they pay. They should find something to eat. You don't, okay, we spend about 5-6 hours on the road every day, joblessly. What's that? Please, you help us tell them, those people that are responsible for this thing, they should know how to control these truck drivers, truck owners. They should find garages where they will be loading and load at this thing.
In February this year, when President Muhammadu Buhari visited Lagos to campaign, it was a surprise to see that all these trucks and tankers disappeared overnight before the president's arrival, only to reappear after his return to Abuja.
Why are they back now? I mean, it just shows that we have a government that care only about themselves, not about the populace. That's what I say about it.
It is clear that sanity can return to this road if the willpower is activated by the authorities. But while this lasts, motorists and commuters would have to deal with this hydra-headed problem.